Well, indeed. Tomorrow is the Super Bowl show. And I thank you for some of your nice comments about the program on Thursday, flowing into Friday, where I talked about the Super Bowl commercial and why you need to do a Super Bowl commercial for your life, for your business, and for your great cause. And some of you are going to take that seriously, and I guarantee you, you will learn a lot about how to do that kind of attention, interest, desire, decision, the deal, and action. And I oftentimes say that everybody who's been put into business and been given any kind of customer service or sales training who doesn't know that formula, the person who taught you that is guilty of leadership malpractice. I really mean that. In today's world, that's the formula that those guys in the Super Bowl will basically be using, because it is the way you, in a short period of time, try to at least get people interested and perhaps getting them to do something in the commercial and market world today. So I share that with you just as a little tip and technique. It's part of all the good things we do with What It Takes Radio and the coaching experience and even the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience. Some of the activities and projects we have going. Yeah, but I would love to have Burt Bacharach doing the Super Bowl show. I would truly enjoy that. And of course, you know why I'm saying that. First of all, I'm old. And secondly, Burt Bacharach, one of the musical composers of 50s, 60s, and 70s, my age and stage, just passed away at the age of 94. And I couldn't help but remember that wonderful song. It really is. I say a little prayer for you. I say a little prayer for you. By the woman, Dionne Warwick. Hey, that's just an introduction to some of our thoughts for this weekend. I'm Stan Houston. The program is called Interesting Ideas, a podcast to hopefully help you gain some insight, perhaps some influence, make an impact, and enjoy a life of good income. Program begins right now. Okay, here are just a few thoughts for the day that's before you. Let's assume you are not totally a Super Bowl or even a football fan. Now, I used to be, as a younger man, I even tried to play football. I wasn't very good at it, but I really enjoyed it, and I obviously was a fan for a number of years. I actually coached it for a while, and I was pretty good at it. But I've kind of lost interest in the sport, and just that's where I am right now. My wife she'll be fully engaged in it, but I probably won't watch it. But I will, from time to time, listen to it. And the reason is because just like the radio, I can listen to the radio and be doing something else. And if I listen to the Super Bowl, I can also, as I probably will be doing something else. And it works. And I would encourage you, if you're in that situation where you are kind of interested or you're a part of that party that you may go to, try and do that. Now, here's what I'd like you to do. If you just listen to it and kind of imagine it from time to time, it'll tell you something about the power, or perhaps the lack of power in some cases, for what we call the audio communication. Now, most of you are aware of the fact that before television, sports were a part of radio. and they still are. Many football games, most of the NFL obviously has the television contract, but the contract for a local radio station is to be able to broadcast the games. And that was a different experience. And actually, the people who did the work of broadcasting an event on the radio were far, far better in terms of what they did and how they did it than the people that they have today. Yeah, obviously, they've got to be good at what they do, but the difference in actually telling the story, not just, reporting on the pictures that people see, but actually making the game or the event into a narrative, into a story in which you cannot have too much, quote, dead air. You have to be ready to be very present and always have other things of interest and favor and flavor involved in your knowledge of the game, your knowledge of life. You have to be pretty good to be able to take an event, any event, and actually make a story out of it on the radio. So kind of notice that, if you would. Kind of notice that, if you would. See what is the case. Now, I'll tell you something else. Part of the reason I don't really want to pay much attention to the commercials and to the game itself, I will be more interested in hearing what people say about it, about the game and the commercials afterwards and on Monday. See, people will be bringing their own stories, their own experiences, their own joy, their own disappointments for whatever reason, or their own prejudices. It'll be interesting to find out what all kinds of people are saying, because remember, the game is not that important. Of course not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who wins. Just, do what matters. But I will learn a lot about just how people are thinking and behaving and acting and what is going on in the world, because after Tuesday, everybody forgets it. Oh, of course, the winning team will be able to go back to either, Kansas City or Philadelphia, and there'll be a parade, but then it'll be done. And within a few weeks, most people will have no idea. They'll even have forgotten who won the Super Bowl, if they care at all. But enjoy it if that's what you want. But if you want to kind of learn a little bit about human nature and about the way the world works, I would really encourage you to just listen to the game and perhaps listen to how people respond afterwards, or perhaps respond to the commercials in that conversation, and to where people are at 24 hours later. That'll be a good education. And for those of you who are in marketing and salesmanship and in retail, as the commercials are talked about, the ones that people talk about, listen to why they thought those were good. And then remember my motto: is it the commercial they liked, or did it in any way reflect upon and make them more inclined to buy the product or service? Because most of the time, it doesn't. It doesn't move the needle at all. But put that in your idea of how I can learn from everything. One of my great heroes was E. Stanley Jones. In fact, I kind of like the name Stanley after I learned about him. But an incredible missionary statesman, and he taught me a great lesson. He said, whether it's bad, whether it's good, and he had a lot of bad in his life, and he had a lot of good in his life, I always felt that, particularly as a man of faith, and as a man of mind and spirit, and of courage, and of having a good and great cause, I determined that I could make everything that happened to me useful. Everything can be useful and helpful. And see if we can even make the Super Bowl helpful and useful. I'm Stan Houston. We're 10 minutes into the program, and now I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I would like to listen to the music of Burt Bacharach. And wouldn't it be nice if that was what the Super Bowl show would be about? We'll finish up on that. Thank you for listening. I'm Stan Houston, StanHustad. Please Google me sometime, and all kinds of stuff will show up, and maybe by serendipity or grace, you'll find something that was helpful and useful to you in the work that we do. We'll take a break, have a sip of tea, and then I'll be right back. One of the reasons that I fell out of favor with the Super Bowl event, besides all of the crazy hype, was that they had shows. Now, I'm showing my age, of course, and maybe I'm showing my traditional element, but I have dropped in from time to time to some of the shows that they have had in the last 10, 15, 20 years. And they're crap for the most part, for me. I just don't like them. Why can't we make it something that is celebratory, and it's something that everyone can appreciate, particularly about what it's supposed to be about, is that it brings people, no matter what their political or educational or their relational, no matter what they're rich or poor, it brings people together under some common themes that we can celebrate. First of all, you get rid of the celebrities. Don't have any celebrity people, because then they're going to try and make it, as they always will, about them. What do I want to do? I've been told that I saw one quite interview. I guess she's a great musician. Her name is Rihanna, and she said, well, a lot of the fans won't understand what I'm about, but this is important that I do this creation. I said, oh, what do you mean? It's not about you. Why would you do something that a lot of people wouldn't understand? You're a performer. You're an entertainer. It's not about you. It's about them. And most of the shows have been about the people who are putting on the show rather than what the audience would prefer or what they would like. But I would love Burt Bacharach, and you know what? Wouldn't it be wonderful? And again, I'm obviously showing age and stage, in this world right now. Yeah, it would love to hear, I say a little prayer for you. Raindrops keep falling on your head, Do you know the way to San Jose? I mean, go through the entire Burt Bacharach and his colleagues, his performers, his colleagues and co-conspirators and co-creators. They created music that you could sing along with, that you could enjoy, that was often about, the sad things, but also the happy things and the creative things in life. Things that could make you smile, things that could make you happy. Maybe, some wistfulness, which we all have, but not depression, not something to make us angry or fearful. It was just good, well done, well arranged, sing along, pop songs that would make you feel better about the day and perhaps even better about you. And I think if it would have been wonderful if somehow whatever show they could do, and perhaps maybe they'll be smart enough, since he literally died on the Super Bowl weekend, that next year, if they're really smart, which they're not, but if they were, that's a little bit about how they would help Americans remember, and help everybody all around the world remember, that music can sometimes stir the mind and move the spirit and touch the heart. And that's what we all want. That's what we want. We don't want lots of loud noise and flashing lights and people moving fast and crazy. What we want is peace and quiet and calm and some encouragement that life goes on. But in the end, life can be good because God is good, and it will be okay. No matter who wins the game, it will be okay. And that's the part of the show that I would like. Blessings on Burt Bacharach and what he did, and for the light and cheer and charm that he brought into the world with some very good people. In fact, why don't you turn off the Super Bowl show and just listen to some Burt Bacharach music during halftime? I guarantee you, you'll be better for it. I'm Stan Houston. Interesting ideas? Please give me a moment to close it up and do a little self-promotion, and I'll be right back. As I told you on Thursday, flowing into Friday, making the 1 minute commercial was very, very good for businesses. And in fact, I was asked, someone said to me, okay, you've joined this particular Rotary group. And she said to me, could you do a little 1 minute speech as to why you joined the Rotary group? And I said, yeah. She said, well, that's really hard to do. And I said, no, it's not. I said, it's very easy for me to do. And by the way, everything in life, if you can put it, okay, if it's a good book, a 30 to 70 page vision of it or version of it might be even better. Sometimes, if it's a 2-hour speech, a 20-minute one would be better. And sometimes a 20-minute speech can be actually done in 5 to 7 minutes. And literally, sometimes, if you're really good, you can make your point in 1 minute. See if you can do it. It'll be good for your mind, it'll be good for your spirit, and you'll be so proud of your creativity. And who knows, maybe you can get a job writing those kinds of things. Go for it. StanHouston@gmail.com, StanHouston@gmail.com, both in terms of our life as a business performance coach and as someone who can help you be on the radio and market yourself that way. Someone who can actually help you learn how to do leadership and business building the Jesus way is what I do, and I think for the most part, I do it well. Thank you for your time. Best and blessings on you for the weekend and the week that follows, and perhaps blessings on and on for some time. They'll have to be renewed from time to time, but it would be nice if we'd have some time of peace and quiet in our lives right now. Bye for now.